I'm gonna talk a little bit, give my 2 cents of why psychedelics will not take you all the way. All the way to what? I think people take psychedelics, as someone who used to take psychedelics, they want to know the nature of reality and the nature of themselves and of God, and it'll give you a glimpse, but it's not going to take you all the way. And so I guess I'll start out by discussing the nature of reality. I guess you could say, like, reality is a sphere, and at the center of the sphere is you looking out into the world for answers or anything like that. And from the inside looking out, it appears like, when you get to the edge, it appears like a mandala, a spinning mandala. But that's just from the inside looking out. That's not actually the truth. That's still phenomenon that you're experiencing. So reality is like an onion that has layers. And as you get to the outer rim of it, the final layer is power. There's power, and then there's a mist of love, an endless sea of love, and then nothingness. But everything else is in the sphere. So when we talk about astral planes, which is where psychedelics bring you, is still in the sphere. Heaven and hell is still in the sphere. Dreams are still in the sphere of reality. And what you are is permeating the sphere, but it's outside of the sphere. And psychedelics might be able to show you that from a second. And really, where psychedelics bring you is to that layer of power. I mean, anybody who's done psychedelics knows that you gain some powers from that. And I think some people who will watch this are familiar with my story of that, but I don't have to get into that right now. Yeah, psychedelics are not going to take a person all the way. I think a lot of people talk about ego death, things like that, but that's all still phenomenon to the ego. It's just a more refined ego, but the ego's still there. The ego doesn't actually die. It still is part of the mental framework that everybody's dealing with. And some people, the ego is in control. But when it's seen from the truth of what you are, it still is a part of the functioning system that we're working with, but it's no longer in control. And so, psychedelics can bring about certain wisdoms or even certain enlightenments, but that's not the truth of what we are. And even in the psychedelic state, when you're seeing something, you're not what you're seeing. Like I said, from the inside looking out, it's very fantastical. But from the outside looking in, everything's one. Even outside of a feeling of oneness. So, and again, psychedelics are only gonna take you at best to that outer ring of power, which is fine if you want powers, or if that's your goal. And a person can be enlightened to the point of their power, but that's not realization. That's not God realization. That's not self-realization. And psychedelics can't give you that. They're not gonna. Psychedelics aren't gonna take you all the way. Powers are still just phenomenon happening within the sphere. Someone can be enlightened, but that doesn't mean they're realized. Realization can only come to the self through the self. Psychedelics might give you a glimpse of that, but I think as Ram Dass says, like, it'll show you, but then you, or most, can't stay there. You're thrown out. And so I think psychedelics are an avenue, and I think they're good for beginners. I'm an advocate of them, but not for long term. It's like any teacher. You get what you need from the teacher, and then you go on. You don't want to get trapped in the desire for power and visions. Visions can be enlightening, but again, visions are not realization. And only realization will give you liberation from the mind and from the world. So that's why they can't take you all the way. And they can be fun. They can be horrifying and enlightening and give you visions and wise insights. But that's not realization. Even the witness isn't realization. The witness is pre-realization. When you fully melt into the source and you cease to be, then realization is possible. So don't aim for powers. Don't even aim for bliss or happiness. The self is beyond all concept, all precept. And then you see that any psychedelic experience or enlightening moment is all illusion. Ego death is illusion. There's only this. There's only now. There's only God. Peace, guys. I love you.